Picture this, the year is 1451, and the Ottoman Empire is on the brink of a new era. A youthful and ambitious leader ascends to the throne, Fatih Sultan Mehmed. At the tender age of 19, his gaze is already set on a jewel of a city that has resisted all attempts at conquest for over 1,000 years, Constantinople. This city, the capital of the Byzantine Empire, is no ordinary prize. It's a bridge between East and West, a vibrant hub of trade, culture, and religion. Its walls, towering and seemingly impregnable, have stood as silent witnesses to the ebb and flow of empires. Constantinople is the apple of Mehmed's eye, the key to fulfilling his ambitious dream of a unified empire. But let's not forget the political climate of this period. The Byzantine Empire, though a shadow of its former glory, is still a formidable foe. Its leaders are determined to defend their capital, their home, against the encroaching Ottoman tide. Tensions are high, with the specter of war looming ominously over the horizon. On the other side, the Ottoman Empire, under the rule of young Mehmed, is a rising power. Its military might is growing, its territories expanding. Mehmed, however, is not content with mere territorial gains. He yearns for more. He desires to make his mark on history, to be remembered as a great conqueror. And what could be a better testament to his greatness than the conquest of Constantinople? But a dream is just a dream unless acted upon. And Mehmed is no idle dreamer. He's a man of action, a man of determination. He knows that the road to Constantinople is fraught with challenges, with obstacles, with potential heartbreak. But he's willing to take the risk, to face the odds for the sake of his dream. And so, with his eyes set on Constantinople, Fatih Sultan Mehmed began to prepare for a battle that would change the course of history. The year is now 1453. Fatih Sultan Mehmed, with his formidable army, lays siege to Constantinople. In the initial stages of the siege, the Ottoman forces strategically positioned themselves to maximize their assault. They encircled the city, forming a siege line that stretched from the Golden Horn to the Sea of Marmara. The land walls of Constantinople, once thought to be impregnable, were now facing an unprecedented challenge. With the stage set, the commencement of cannon fire marked the true beginning of the siege. The Ottomans had brought with them an arsenal of heavy artillery, the likes of which the world had never seen before. Among their weaponry was a colossal cannon, capable of hurling stone balls weighing as much as 600 pounds. The thunderous roar of this behemoth echoed across the city, a constant reminder of the Ottomans' formidable power. The Byzantines, however, were far from helpless. They had their own strategies to counter the Ottoman onslaught. Their defensive measures included repairing the damaged walls in real time, using barrels filled with earth and stones. They also utilized a chain across the Golden Horn to prevent Ottoman naval vessels from penetrating the harbor. But they were outnumbered and outgunned. The size and power of the Ottoman army were indeed a sight to behold. Fatih Sultan Mehmed had assembled an army that dwarfed the city's defenders. It was a force of well over 100,000 men, including elite janissaries, formidable Anatolian troops, and fearless archers. This army was more than just a military machine. It was a manifestation of Mehmed's ambition to capture the city that served as the gateway between the East and the West. Despite the Byzantines' valiant efforts, the balance was tipping in favor of the Ottomans. The relentless cannon fire, the tireless efforts of the Ottoman soldiers, and the strategic brilliance of Fatih Sultan Mehmed were starting to bear fruit. The Byzantine walls, once the symbol of the city's invincibility, were beginning to show signs of weakness. Despite fierce resistance, the Byzantine walls were starting to crumble under the relentless Ottoman assault. As the days turned into weeks, a pivotal moment was on the horizon. The battle was in a deadlock, with neither side making significant headway. It was then that Fatih Sultan Mehmed, the young and ambitious leader of the Ottoman Empire, made a move so audacious, so unexpected, that it would change the tide of the battle decisively. In the dead of night, he ordered his navy to be transported overland across the Galata Hill. This was no small feat. The ships, massive and heavy, were hauled across the terrain using greased logs as rollers, powered by the strength of men and oxen. It was a spectacle that defied the imagination, a feat of military engineering that was unheard of in those times. The destination was the Golden Horn, the gulf to the north of Constantinople. A giant chain installed by the Byzantines blocked the entrance to the Golden Horn, effectively cutting off any naval assault from that direction. But Mehmed found a way to bypass this obstacle. By daybreak, the Ottoman navy had been successfully transported and was floating in the waters of the Golden Horn. Imagine the shock and dismay of the Byzantine forces when they woke up to this sight. The impossible had been made possible. The impenetrable defense had been bypassed. The morale of the Byzantine forces plummeted. They were now surrounded on all sides, their city under siege from both land and sea. What Mehmed had achieved was not just a strategic advantage, it was a psychological victory. He had demonstrated his resolve, his ingenuity, his willingness to take risks. He had shown that he was not bound by conventional warfare tactics, that he would do whatever it took to capture Constantinople. This move shook the Byzantines' belief in their invincibility. It sowed seeds of doubt, of fear. They were now not just fighting the Ottoman forces, but also their own rising panic and despair. With this audacious move, Fatih Sultan Mehmed had effectively encircled Constantinople. The stage was set for the next phase of the siege. The fate of Constantinople was hanging by a thread, and the thread was in Mehmed's hands. In the early hours of May 29th, a final assault was launched. The air was thick with anticipation and the weight of history. The Ottoman forces, under the leadership of Fatih Sultan Mehmed, were ready to make their mark. This was not a battle of mere numbers, but one of strategy and skill, and at the helm was Mehmed, a leader of exceptional acumen. He had meticulously planned this assault, understanding that the formidable inner wall of Constantinople, that had stood unbreached for centuries, was the final obstacle to his ultimate victory. The Ottoman army, bolstered by their leader's unyielding resolve, attacked with an intensity that seemed to shake the very foundations of the city. The Byzantine defenders fought valiantly, but the strength and determination of the Ottomans was overwhelming. And then, in a moment that would forever be etched in history, the inner wall was breached. The impossible had been achieved. The impenetrable fortress that was Constantinople had fallen. Fatih Sultan Mehmed's leadership was instrumental in this victory. His innovative tactics, including the use of large cannons to batter the city's defenses and his decision to haul his fleet overland to circumvent the chain blocking the Golden Horn, showed a leader who was not afraid to think outside the box and who was willing to take risks to achieve his goal. But perhaps more significantly, Mehmed's victory was a testament to his unwavering belief in his cause and his unyielding determination to see it through. His audacity to dream big and his conviction to turn those dreams into reality were the driving forces behind this historical event. The fall of Constantinople was a monumental moment, not only for the Ottoman Empire but for the entire world. It marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and the start of a new chapter in history. An era of Ottoman dominance was ushered in, and the world watched in awe as the city on the Bosphorus Strait became the heart of a thriving empire. With the fall of Constantinople, a new era had dawned, not just for the Ottoman Empire but for the entire world. The conquest of Constantinople was more than a military victory. It was a seismic event that signaled the end of one era and the dawn of another, echoing far beyond the city's ancient walls. The Byzantine Empire, a beacon of the classical world, crumbled, making way for the rise of a new power, the Ottoman Empire. Fatih Sultan Mehmed, just 21 years old at the time of the conquest, was the architect of this transformation. His tenacious vision and strategic genius not only brought down the Byzantine Empire but also set the course for the Ottoman Empire's dominance for centuries to come. His leadership went far beyond military prowess. He was a master of diplomacy, navigating the complex political landscape of the time with finesse and foresight. The conquest of Constantinople had far-reaching implications. It marked a shift in power dynamics in Europe, with the Ottoman Empire becoming a significant player on the continental stage. It altered trade routes, leading to the Age of Discovery. It also sparked the Renaissance, as Byzantine scholars fled to the West, carrying with them precious knowledge and texts that would inspire a cultural and intellectual awakening. Fatih Sultan Mehmed's legacy extends beyond the Ottoman Empire. His rule was marked by tolerance and multiculturalism, with Christians and Jews living in harmony under his reign. He was a patron of the arts and sciences, his court becoming a hub of intellectual and cultural activity. His vision of Constantinople, renamed Istanbul, as a cosmopolitan center of commerce and culture, is still evident today. And so the boy who became a sultan, the sultan who became a conqueror, left his mark not only on the city he so desired but on the annals of history itself. From that point forward he was known as Fatih Sultan Mehmed, the Conqueror.